Week 3 recap. A lot to go over. Um, we got power rankings. We got injury news. We got last minute week 3 drama. So let's get right into it. Starting with our first matchup, we have Big Balls versus Hurley and Chuck's year. Big Balls, big performance, 143. Hurley and Chuck's year, 109. Tough loss for Hurley and Chuck's year. Looks like they'll be down their number one pick, round one pick, CD Lamb, for at least a week. There's talks of him potentially going on IR, so maybe even 4 weeks, but it doesn't seem to be season ending, so we'll see how Hurley and Chuck's year can weather that. Hurley and Chuck's year to 2-1, Big Balls to 2-1. Next up, Cambodians versus Swamp Dicks. Swamp Dicks 126, Cambodians 107. 38 points from Minnesota's defense for the Swamp Dicks. Can't really make that up. Cambodians can't make that up. Big win for Swamp Dicks to avoid the dreaded 0-3. Moves to 1-2. Cambodians drop to 1-2. Next up, True Under Big Dog Story versus Fear the Choj. Fear the Choj denies True Under Big Dog Story the 3-0 start. Big performance from both Montgomery and Gibbs. 30 for Montgomery, 24 and a half for Gibbs. I don't know if we'll ever see that type of performance from two running backs on the same team ever again. Almost 50 points from the same position. So Fear the Choj up to 2-1. True Under Big Dog Story 2-1. Our matchup to watch, and boy was it. It lived up to the hype. Capone's V card coming in at 0-2. Emma Lawyer coming in at 2-0. Capone's V card on pretty much the last offensive play of the game, pretty much, for the Lions. Throw a 20-yard lofted pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown to give Capone's V card the 1-point win, less than 1-point win over Elmwood Lawyer, to keep Capone's V card from dropping to the dreaded 0-3. Big win for Capone's V card. Elmwood Lawyer drops to 2-1. Next up, the Goblins versus Big Nick's Energy. Another big win. Big Nick's Energy avoids the 0-3 as well. All of the 0-2 teams, we had 4 of them. All of them come up in the clutch. We have no defeated teams now, and we have no undefeated teams either. Very tight across the league so far. Everybody is at least one game back from the top spot. Go figure. So Big Nick's Energy 125. The Goblins 96. Goblins already sent the $20 for the parlay. That we've talked about the Goblins on and on. The same old Goblins here. We'll see if they can turn it around. The Dog Pound. We shit on the Dog Pound last power rankings, and we shit on them consistently. And here they come. 144.54 top scores of the week. Take down Tasty Boys Club. 116 to 82. The Dog Pound avoids the 0-3 start, and we have more to say about the Dog Pound later. Now some developments. We already talked about Hurley and Chuck's here losing CD Lamb. That's not the only development. The Cambodians lose Mike Evans for a couple weeks, I just saw. Another big development. Capone's V card loses James Conner for the year. However, Cam Scatterboot says, "Don't worry, Wolf and Ted, don't cry. I'm here to save the day." Tyrone Tracy, shoulder, done a couple weeks. Scatterboot in. And comes up with a pretty good performance. We'll see if he can keep it up. Speaking of James Conner, Big Nick's energy with the backup there, Trey Benson, second-year running back, looks pretty good. Should be able to step in and be a viable starting option for them. So what Capone's V card loss is Big Nick's energy's gain. So yeah, that's good for them. Am I missing anything else big? I don't think so. So then let's move on to the week 4 look ahead, and then we'll do our power rankings. So the week 4 look ahead. Okay. Let me scan this real quick to see if we have a matchup to watch. I think I see one. I see a couple, actually. So let's start off with the first one. We have a semi-rivalry between Elmwood Lawyer and Big Balls, both at 2-1. Winner of this will be looking at bye potential in the bye conversation. More importantly, however, we have 2 1-2 teams matching up. 4 of them total, 2 matchups. We have Swamp Dicks versus Capone's V card. We have Big Nick's Energy versus Tasty Boys Club. 2 of these teams will be 1-3. Guaranteed, we'll have 2 teams at 1-3. Not good for the hot dog and beer situation. So something to watch. That's Swamp Dicks and Capone's V card, Big Nick's Energy, Tasty Boys Club. Outside of that, these are a lot of good matchups here, but those are the 3 we'll highlight. We also have Hurley and Chuck Cheater playing the Dog Pound. Fear the Charge playing the Goblins. Another battle of 2-1 teams. And the True Under Big Dog Story versus Cambodians. All right. So we got to do power rankings. And I looked at the teams, and I got to say, this has to be the weakest teams that the league has ever seen. There's nobody who, like, I when I was doing tiers, I was like, I basically could put everybody in the same tier, except, believe it or not, like I said, we shit on them, but I hate to say it, go and compare your own team or other teams to the Dog Pound. I don't think we have a better team out there right now. Granted, there were some injuries within the last 2 weeks that have really changed the outlook for the Dog Pound. Jordan Mason, benefiting largely from Aaron Jones going down. Quentin Johnston, their waiver wire pickup. I don't want to say it too early, but he's looking like he might actually be legit. Kenneth Walker, we thought that he was, in a complete timeshare, and he still might be. Charbonnet didn't play last week, but Kenneth Walker has looked good the last 2 weeks. So, pretty good. They still have George Kittle on IR, so I can't count him as part of their team right now. But even without him, very strong team. Breece Hall, Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, Matthew Stafford. It's a good looking team. On the bench, they have Matthew Golden, who he's a rookie. He he has good potential, especially with Jaden Reed still out. Michael Pittman could be coming around with this passing attack. He was looking like a pretty decent wide receiver with Daniel Jones out there slinging it. So yeah, gotta admit when we're wrong. We were wrong about the dog pound. We were dead wrong. I like this team a lot now, and it'll be funny, when we do our next ones, our next power rankings, week 6, when the dog pound somehow flips again. So it's funny how this all works. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's talk about Hurley and Chuck's year, where I think we had in the top spot. They're dropping in the rankings. You can't you lose your top guy, and that hurts. Um, and Bill Krusty Merritt hasn't panned out yet. We'll see if that continues, if they start featuring him a little bit more. But right now he's in like a three bet committee, not really going to get much traction there. I really, like I said, like all these teams are pretty equal. If I like I said, go off the tiers more, but I'd probably put Dog Pound in tier 1 by themselves. And then tier 2, I'd have Big Balls, Cambodian, Swamp Dicks, Elmwood Lawyer, Big Nick's Energy, Tasty Boys Club, Hurley and Chuck's here. And then tier 3, which I almost could blend with tier 2, honestly. I really think all these teams are just very average. So don't come at me for putting you in the bottom tier. You could be tier 2 and tier 3 are. You can make arguments for any of these teams to be in whatever. So big under Big Dog, Goblins, Fear the Choach, Caponi's V card would be tier 3. But like I said, tier 2 and tier 3 pretty much inseparable. Just felt like I had to at least break it up into 3 tiers instead of just having the dog pound in tier 1 and everybody else in tier 2. So still early in the year, still figuring out who's what and what's who. So the power rankings will be very volatile. Probably up until like week 9, I'd say, is when we'd have a pretty decent idea of what players are legit and what players were, fool's gold, or vice versa. So that's that. The parlay was pathetic this week. So I think we probably got, I don't know, I had to check, maybe like 4 of the 12 legs, right? So got to be better there. I got my pick wrong. I got to be better. Maybe this week we don't take a Thursday night pick, just because it sucks when the parlay is dead after one day. We don't even get to sweat it out on Sunday. So maybe let's not pick Thursday night this week. We could reassess if we keep that a thing, or unless your Thursday night pick that you want to take is like a no brainer. Like for example the Bills last week, being like 15-point favorites. Like if you want to take their money line, I don't see an issue with that. But maybe this week, just to test it out, let's stay away from Thursday night football. So whenever you have your pick that you like, just go ahead and send it in the chat. The Goblins have already paid their dues for this week's parlay, so good on them by getting that money in quickly. All right. Good luck to everybody in week 4, and we will be back week 5.